The thesis of this project was to see if the different law codes truly affected the ancient societies. Did they make a difference, and to what kinds of people did they cater to? With that said, I hope my videos were educational and enjoyable. Now, let's start. Another day, another walking about the land. Within times of war, death, famine, and other unsightly practices, I can rely on the law to keep me safe. Can I? Let's see. Civil and ecclesiastical authorities can't seize my land or my goods? Wait, what does ecclesiastical even mean? Okay, what else? No tax collection? That means less cops? Sweet! I can actually go outside. Anything else? A good start, but issues with perfume makers and divorce? I use cosmetics and colleges and things, so no marriage. More money. But getting rid of judicial abuse? Now there's something I can relate to. Now where this whole idea came from? Some world known as a my guy said something about returning to the mother. Like returning to a clean, just society? Man, we just need something more. A little bit something better. A little bit something more specific. If someone looks at me funny, they die. No, but just about. Reminds me of that Greek fella. What was his name? His call system was so brief I can't seem to recall. Oh yeah, Draco. Well, jokes aside, let's start. The codes of Hammurabi were the building blocks of many judicial systems within today's society. And although the codes Disney were just to be for Hinkas, it was the ruthlessness of set laws that truly struck fear in the eyes of both lawmakers and criminals. For example, if anyone steals the property of a temple or of the court, he shall be put to death. And also the one who receives stolen things from him shall be put to death. If anyone break a hole into a house, that means breaking to steal, he shall be put to death before that hole will be buried. If a blank or a blank on the property of the captain, enter the captain, or take away the captain the gift presented him by the king, then the blank or blank shall be put to death. That last one wasn't even filled out completely, but I get the gist of it. Basically, if you done goof, you die. Harsh, but to the point. Now, of course, there were codes that didn't immediately result in the criminal's death, such as, if anyone store corn in another man's house, he shall pay him storage at the rate of 1 gur for every 5 cob corn per year. If a man take a woman to wife and had no intercourse with her, this woman is no wife to him. If a man be guilty of incest with his daughter, he should be driven from the place. That means exile for y'all that don't really understand that. I'm here to help. These laws deal with matters such as family, debt, and marriage. Totally death-free, but still rather harsh consequence. Too bad Draco didn't see it that way, at least toward the rich. Draco was an Athenian born into a country that had quite the problems with debt. Greece's major problem was that no laws for the above were written down, and the poor were not able to stand in court. As no law had been created, nothing could protect those stricken with poverty. Herein comes Draco, but his laws only formed bias towards the rich landowners. These laws were cruel. I mean extremely cruel. I mean cruel enough to the point where we as historians only know the dealings of homicide. These two things just suffice an example. A relative of a murderer victim can hunt and take into custody the murderer and thus hand him into the authorities where he shall be judged. If a relative kills the murderer, he will not be allowed to enter Athenian forum. He who killed another Athenian without purpose or by accident should be banished from Athens forever. If the killer apologizes to the family of the murdered man and the family accepts the apology, then the murdered man can stay in Athens. So of course these laws fared no better than Hammurabi, effective for only a short time but then put down by the later centuries. So long, like Draco, was an Athenian who had to deal with the holdings of power. These governmental powers were split into 9 archons who were elected annually by the Areopagus on the basis of wealth and status. Basically, no to the poor once again. Starting to see a trend with these ancient worlds. Poor and rich being the rich, and the issues run amok. Let the world express one man to fix every single problem. Kind of feel bad for these lawmakers on this one, but they're dead, so who cares? Back on topic. Someone tackled the codes, but unlike the lawmakers before him, we decided to think upon the angle of the rich and the poor and attempt to make a code suitable for all. Holding public office so that the less inclined could determine their leaders, or mourning the dead so that all will feel remembered were just 2 of the many. One method, in which was one of his first, was to split the people into 4 classes based upon their income. 500 measurement, horsemen, yokesmen, and laborers, from wealthiest to poorest. Using this, Solon created a council of 400 men to prepare an agenda for the discussion of assembly, thus making aristocratic domination moot since the members were drawn by lots. Though they were most likely still picked from the 3 wealthiest classes. You can't win them all. These reforms gave added impetus or force to the assembly's legislative role, and thus indirectly laid a foundation for the political influence that the laborer class would gradually acquire after a century and a half from that time. Despite the restrictions on the low-income class, like holding office, Solon reforms felt more like a democracy because his ideas allowed for upward social mobility. If a man could climb his status would rise, and since direct taxes were abolished, citizens could gain better lots for assembly. He also provided for the right of appeal to the assembly by persons who believed the magistrate had rendered unjust judgments against them, and ruled that any male citizen could bring charges on a wide variety of offenses against wrongdoers on behalf of any victim of a crime. As you can see, these reforms played to both ends. A high-minded man could keep his power, but a low-born could rise to the ranks with enough determination to do so. Despite all of this, nothing truly changed. The judicial systems that were created never truly solved the problems of society. They only softened the blow created by corruption. Even as elaborate and as equal as Solon's plans were, they too failed to ruin. Returning after his 10-year-old trip only brought disdain to his eyes, but when dealing with humans, one must know rules will always and forever be broken.